Hey, what's up, Angels fans? And welcome back to Angels Latest, the show where we talk about Halos baseball the same way we do with our buddies. We're a little hopeful, a little frustrated, but always locked in and always believing there are brighter days coming at the Big A. And listen, it's officially the Christmas season, which means two things: holiday music everywhere. Actually, that's been going on since before Thanksgiving, right? And a whole lot of Angels fans asking for Santa. We need pitching. All right, because let's be honest, the best present under the tree this year would be the Angels loading up in free agency and really giving us a winning ball club. I mean, that's the best gift that keeps on giving all year long. And whether it's new arms for the rotation, a lockdown closer, or that surprise signing nobody sees coming. I mean, the offseason might be cold in some areas, not really here in SoCal, but the hot stove and the Angels rumors are heating things up like a fireplace on Christmas Eve. Now, if you're new to the show, welcome. I'm Anthony, and this is where we bring real talk and real analysis and real passion for your Los Angeles Angels. So settle in, grab your favorite holiday beverage, which could be cocoa, coffee, eggnog, whatever works. Take a deep breath and let's jump right into it. All right, Angels fans, let's talk about a name that should be very high on every Halos fan's Christmas wish list. At least it's on mine. How about closer Edwin Diaz? I mean, this is the guy who, when he's right, is one of the most dominant relievers on the entire planet Earth. I mean, we're talking strikeouts, swagger, big moments, and the kind of ninth inning where hitters walk up to the plate already down 0-2 in their heads. So you might be asking, who is Edwin Diaz? Well, quick background for those who might not know the full story. His name is Edwin Orlando Diaz Lavoy, and that's his full name. He was born March 22nd, 1994 in Puerto Rico. He was originally an outfielder growing up, but his dad encouraged him to switch to pitching in his teen years, and that turned out it was a pretty good call. You know, daddy knows best, right? He was drafted by the Seattle Mariners in the third round of the 2012 draft, 98th overall, out of the Caguas Military Academy in Puerto Rico. He worked his way through the minors as a starter at first, and then once the Mariners moved him to the bullpen, everything clicked. He made his MLB debut in June 6th of 2016 for the Mariners, and it did not take long for him to take over the closer role. I mean, early on, he even set a Mariners record by recording 11 straight outs, all by strikeout. I mean, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. Now, let's talk about his resume. From 2016 through the end of the 2025 season, Diaz has put together a career ERA right around 2.80, a win-loss record of 28-36, which really doesn't matter for relievers, and over 520 games pitched, more than 519 innings. I mean, a massive strikeout total, more than 830 strikeouts in just over 500 innings, and over 250 career saves. He's averaged roughly 14 and a half strikeouts per 9 innings over his career. That is absolutely elite. That's good luck making contact territory. Now, let's talk about his awards and accolades, and the hardware he has backs it up. Edwin Diaz is a 3-time All-Star. That was in 2018, 2022, and 2025. He led all of Major League Baseball in saves at 2018, racking up 57 saves. That top mark is of the league that year. He's been recognized as one of the best relievers in the game, winning top reliever honors in both American and National Leagues. And he's been named to the All MLB teams, including first team in 2022 and second team in 2025. I mean, he was also part of a combined no-hitter in 2022, and he's pitched on the international stage for Puerto Rico in the World Baseball Classic. He was serving as their closer during the 2017 WBC when Puerto Rico took home the silver medal. So this is not just some random closer. This is a guy with a real decorated big game resume. So let's talk about his pitching arsenal and style and why hitters hate stepping up against him. Diaz throws right-handed with a slightly 3/4, almost lowish arm slot that gives his pitches a really tough angle. His arsenal is built around three main pitches. Number one, the four-seam fastball. It sits around 97 to 98 miles per hour on average. It explodes at the top of the zone and plays up even more because of his release point. Number two, he has the slider. This is his true put-away pitch. It's usually around 89 to 90 miles per hour. And when it's on, it just disappears down and away from the righties and buries on the back foot of the lefties. And number three, the changeup that he'll mix in occasionally, usually around the low 90s, just to give another look. But really, hey, it's the fastball slider combo that makes him special. With the high heat up in the zone, the wipeout slider off the plate, hitters are guessing the entire at-bat. He doesn't pitch to contact. He's out there to miss bats, and his strikeouts numbers prove it. Okay, so what has he done lately, you might be asking? Well, because that matters when you're talking big-time free agency. Well, in 2025, Diaz put together another monster season in the back end of the Mets bullpen. He appeared in about 62 games and threw over 66 innings and racked up 28 saves. He posted an ERA around 1.63 and a whip under 0.90 and struck out close to 100 batters in those 60-plus innings. So if you're wondering, is this the same guy after that knee injury at the World Baseball Classic in 2023? And the answer sure looks like, yeah. He bounced back and reminded everyone that he's still one of the nastiest closers in the game. So why is he available then in free agency? And here's where it gets really interesting for us Angel fans. Diaz signed that massive 5-year, $102 million contract with the Mets after the 2022 season. But after 2025, he exercised his opt-out clause. Walked away from the final 2 years of that deal to test free agency once again. Now, reports say he's looking for another 9-figure contract, and honestly, with the way he pitched in 2025 and how thin the truly elite closer market is, well, he might get it. He's been pretty open about things publicly, saying about a 50-50 chance he goes back to the Mets and that he's absolutely open to exploring other teams. So yeah, as we sit here talking about Edwin Diaz, he is out there on the open market. So let's bring it back home to Anaheim. And does he fit with the Angels? Well, what would Edwin Diaz mean for us in Los Angeles? Short answer, he would completely change the identity of this bullpen. For years, the Angels have struggled in the late innings. They've blown saves, inconsistent ninth innings, exhausted middle relievers, and that constant sinking feeling when a closer comes into the game from the bullpen. Edwin Diaz immediately solves it. He gives you a true elite ninth inning closer who can handle the pressure, swing and miss stuff that doesn't rely on your defense making every single play. And he's a tone setter. When he's warming up, the other dugout knows the window is closing. Angel Stadium is a good fit for his style. It's generally pitcher friendly, and especially at night, and a guy with a big fastball wipeout slider can absolutely dominate there. On top of that, you're not just adding a reliever, you're adding a statement. You're telling the league and your own clubhouse, we are serious about closing games. We are serious about winning. Now, would the Angels actually pull the trigger on a deal like this? Excuse me. That's the $1 million, or really the $100 million question. So on one hand, they absolutely need a closer. They have a rotation question, yes. And getting the ball from the starters to the finish line has been a big problem for a long time. So on the other hand, though, Diaz is going to be expensive. And we're talking possibly another 4 to 5 year deal at a very high annual salary. And historically, the Angels haven't always gone all in on top of the market relievers. So if I had to handicap it, I'd say something like this. Is he a perfect baseball fit? Absolutely. Would he immediately improve this team's chances of winning close games? No question, no doubt about it, yes. But are there ownership and spending questions that might get in the way? Yeah. And that's where the doubt creeps in. So here's the bottom line. Edwin Diaz is an elite strikeout heavy closer, a proven all-star with a track record of dominance. Healthy again and coming off a huge 2025 season and sitting in free agency right at a time when the Angels desperately need stability at the back end of the bullpen. I mean, he is exactly the type of move that would feel like a Christmas present, not only for this Angels fan, but I'm sure for many of us. And the kind of gift that would keep on giving all season long in the ninth inning. But I want to hear from you. Halos fans, would you give Edwin Diaz a big money deal to lock down the back end of the bullpen? Are you comfortable paying top dollar for a top closer? Or would you rather see that money go into the starting rotation or a big bat? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. I want to hear from them or from you. And if you're watching YouTube, hit like, subscribe, and let me know if Edwin Diaz is on your Angels Christmas wish list. All right, Angels fans, let's shift gears from the ninth inning to the starting rotation. And the next name on my Angels Christmas wish list is a veteran who checks a ton of boxes, and that is Chris Bassitt. This is the kind of pitcher who won't always dominate the headlines, but absolutely stabilizes a rotation that a moment he arrives. And you might be wondering, well, tell me a little bit about the basics of Chris Bassitt. Well, his full name is Christopher Michael Bassitt. He was born on February 22nd, 1989 in Toledo, Ohio. He was drafted in the 16th round of the 2011 MLB draft by the Chicago White Sox, 501st overall, coming out of the University of Akron. Now, he made his MLB debut on August 30th, 2014, then eventually found a home with the Oakland A's, where he really began to establish himself as a reliable arm. He pitched for 4 teams so far, which is the White Sox, the A's, the New York Mets, and most recently the Toronto Blue Jays from 2023 through 2025. Now let's talk about his resume because it's stronger than people realize. Entering the free agency this winter, Bassitt has put together a career record of 83 wins and 65 losses. He has a career 3.64 ERA across more than 1,278 innings, over 1,190 career strikeouts, and he was even an all-star in 2021, one of the most solid seasons of his career. Now here's the big one. Since 2020, he's been one of the most durable starters in baseball, ranking among the league leaders in both innings pitched and games started. That's huge for a team like the Angels. In 2025 with Toronto, he put together another steady workhorse season. He finished with a record of 11-9, a 3.96 ERA, 166 strikeouts, and over 170 innings pitched, with a whip around 1.33. I mean, he also shifted into a different gear in the postseason. Toronto used him out of the bullpen, and he handled high leverage relief work beautifully. I mean, that kind of versatility, that only adds to his value. So let's talk about what makes him effective in his pitching arsenal. Now, he isn't a flamethrower. By all means, he's not. He's not blowing 98 miles per hour by you like Edwin Diaz. That's not his type of game. But what he does have is one of the deepest pitch mixes in Major League Baseball. I mean, we're talking 7 to 8 different pitches he'll use in a game. Here we go. A four-seam fastball, a sinker, a cutter, a slider, a changeup, a splitter, a curveball, and occasionally a sweeper. I mean, he can throw almost any pitch in almost any count, and the hitters never know what's coming. I mean, in 2025, his sinker gained more vertical drop and arm side movement, making it really the harder for, hitters to square up on. His cutter picked up more downward bite, even with a slight dip in velocity. Now, his curveball, one of the better high movement breaking balls in the league. I mean, it has great vertical drop, great lateral movement, and an excellent at producing weak contact. And that's the key with Bassitt. He's a weak contact specialist. Once again, he's smart, he's crafty, he sequences pitches beautifully, and his game ages extremely well because he never relied on overpowering stuff to begin with. So what is his free agency outlook? I mean, let's talk market value. So at age 36, going into the 2026 season, Bassitt is expected to land a shorter term deal, something like 2 years, probably in the ballpark of $34 to $38 million total. I mean, that's a pretty reasonable price for a guy who logs innings, keeps your team in games, and brings stability to your rotation. I mean, he just wrapped up a 3-year, $63 million deal with Toronto, so he's still very much viewed as a mid-rotation starter, and with real value for teams that need innings and leadership. Sound like any team we know? So here's how Chris Bassitt fits with our Angels. So here's where things get interesting, fans. Chris Bassitt might be one of the best rotation fits the Angels could realistically pursue this offseason. I mean, why? I mean, 3 big reasons, okay? Number 1, the Angels desperately need reliable innings. For years now, the Angels' biggest problem hasn't been talent. It's been availability. I mean, short outings, injuries, inconsistency, young arms forced into roles they weren't ready for. I mean, let's be honest. Bassitt fixes all of that immediately, day one. He gives you 6 innings almost every time he takes the mound. He protects your bullpen. He stabilizes your rotation, and he lowers the temperature of every series. And that's invaluable. Second reason, Angel Stadium is a perfect fit for his pitching style. Angel Stadium plays really well for pitch-to-contact arms. It's a pitcher-friendly environment, especially at night with that marine layer. And Bassitt's game with the sinker, cutter, curve, movement, location, I mean, it fits beautifully into that setting. Give him a solid infield defense, and he's exactly the kind of starter who can quietly give you 28 to 30 starts and an ERA in the mid-3s. Reason number 3, he's a leader and a mentor for a young staff. The Angels have young arms, and good ones, but they need someone to guide them. Bassitt, he's a pro's pro. He teaches sequencing approaches, composure, and how to survive without elite velocity. Lessons young pitchers absolutely need. And he doesn't block your prospects. He basically gives them opportunities while still learning from him. So that's another reason for signing Bassitt. So now the question is, will the Angels actually sign him? Will they actually go after Chris Bassitt? That's the big question. And I think the odds are actually pretty good, much higher than someone like Edwin Diaz. And that's the good news. And why? Because Bassitt is affordable, short-term, a perfect fit for what the Angels need right now. And he won't require draft pick compensation or prospect capital. I mean, if I had to put a number on it, I'd say the chances are 60 to 70%, maybe even higher if the Angels leadership truly understands how badly they need someone who can give them innings every 5th day. All right, so here's the bottom line, guys. Chris Bassitt is a durable workhorse, a master of pitch mix and weak contact, a veteran leader, a perfect ballpark fit, a realistic, smart free agent target for a team looking to stabilize its rotation. He may not be the flashiest name on the market, but he might be one of the smartest additions the Angels could make to their rotation. But what do you think? Should the Angels go after Chris Bassitt? Do you like the idea of a dependable veteran in the middle of the rotation? Or are you hoping they swing bigger? And drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the rest of our off-season breakdowns. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next item because, Chris Bassitt is the veteran arms the Angels need. And I mean, he does fit everything that we require. And I mean, again, he does everything the best. I really would like to know what your thoughts are because, I know we talk about flashy pitchers, people who can do, what's needed from them. And I think, again, Bassitt just really, checks all the boxes and for the right price. I know a lot of us, are saying, Artie doesn't want to spend. Artie doesn't want to, overdo it with the luxury tax. And I think this is an opportunity where we can get a good deal and, really get a veteran leader that can lead the charge with these youngsters. All right, so let's talk about one of the biggest moments of the offseason, and that is the winter meetings. And that's going to be taking place in Orlando, Florida. And, the Angels walk into the meetings with more questions than answers, to be honest, but also more opportunity than they've had in a while. And when you take a look at it, let's see where the Angels stand. So let's rewind for a second. So the Angels finished the 2025 season at a 72-90 record. Not where anyone wanted or wants to be. And because of that, they head into the winter meetings with a long to-do list and a very clear sense of what needs to change. Now, the good news, they've already started doing something about it. We've already been seeing some movement. And let's take a look at what they've done so far. 2 moves have already made headlines. First, the Angels traded for right-handed Grayson Rodriguez, a young starter with big upside, but also a bit of volatility after dealing with injuries and some inconsistency. But then they went out and signed Alek Manoah to a 1-year deal, another high upside arm trying to bounce back to his all-star form. So those are the 2 moves already. And yes, they've added pitching, but let's be honest. They still need more. That's right. They need more help. And here's what they need at the winter meetings. According to MLB insiders, the Angels have several major priorities heading into the meetings. And number 1, we can all say it together, is starting pitching. Even with Rodriguez and Manoah, they need at least 1 more dependable veteran arm to stabilize this rotation. Number 2, the bullpen, especially a closer. Kenley Jansen is a free agent, and the Angels simply cannot walk into 2026 without a real plan for the 9th inning. Number 3, third base. Depending on how the roster settles, they may need an everyday infielder at the hot corner. We talked about Anthony Rendon and how he might be Rendon. And number 4, possibly center field, or at least another outfielder, depending on how the roster shakes out. And yes, that's a lot of needs. But the encouraging part is that the Angels seem ready to address them. And so far, we've been seeing some movement. So what about the financial flexibility, the X factor? And here's where part of that, we may miss. The Angels actually have more payroll flexibility than expected. The Ward for Rodriguez trade cleared some salary. And depending on how certain contract restructures or deferrals are handled, yes, we all know who we're talking about. The Angels might have even more room to maneuver. So with this winter meetings, it could be one of the few times in recent years where the Angels actually both a reason to spend and the ability to spend. Something we haven't seen in a while as fans. So what do I believe the Angels should do at the meetings? Well, based on everything we're hearing and everything we know about this team, here's what I believe is a must-do at the winter meetings for the Angels. Number one, and I think we all say it together, prioritize pitching, rotation, and bullpen. Not flashy pitching, not bargain bin pitching, not let's hope for rebounds pitching, but real dependable innings and pitchers that can eat innings. Because with all due respect to the offense, you don't get stability without arms. All right, and that starts with adding at least one more veteran starter and a legitimate closer. That's where we keep talking week in and week out. All right, 2, avoid over-trading prospects. I mean, the Angels farm system is no longer empty. There is real young talent coming, and MLB insiders say the Angels do not want to trade their top prospects, and we don't want to see that either as fans. And that's 100% the right call. You can't fix years of instability by trading away the very players who could stabilize your future. And number 3, spend smart. Avoid panic moves. I mean, this is the part that can make fans, including myself, nervous. With multiple needs, it's easy to chase the wrong players or overpay for short-term solutions. And what the Angels need is value, stability, and multi-year planning. Not desperate splashes that look good in December, but fall apart by June. And number 4, we need to build a defense and pitching identity. I mean, for the first time in a long time, the Angels have a chance to really build a real identity. And not, we hope the stars stay healthy. Not, we all out-hit our pitching weakness. But pitching and defense first. The same formula that works for almost every October team. So what are the things the Angels must avoid? Well, the Angels, this is crucial. They cannot afford to overpay mid-level talent just to fill roster spots or rely on bounce-back candidates as their primary arms. And they can't ignore the bullpen again, or worst of all, sacrifice the future for one-year hopes. I mean, if they repeat any of these patterns, we'll be back to the same 72-90 territory. And before you know it, we're back in the cellar. Now, why is this winter meetings matters the most more than usual? Because it feels different. It feels like a crossroads moment for the franchise. They have needs, they have flexibility, they have options. And finally, for the first time in several years, have a chance to reshape this roster in a meaningful way. That's right. So, how does this connect the whole offseason? Well, if the Angels hit the winter meetings aggressively and intelligently, the rest of the offseason opens up beautifully. And you add a stable veteran starter, you add a real closer, and you shore up one position on the field, and suddenly the Angels look completely different entering 2026. This is their moment to act. All right, so here's the question for you, the fans. And I really want to know, so drop a comment below. What move do you want to see the Angels make at the winter meetings? Is it a starting pitcher, a closer, a big trade, a new third baseman, or something else? Drop your predictions and wish list picks in the comments below. And hey, who knows? If the Angels really want to deliver a Christmas present to their fans, a strong winter meetings would be a pretty great place to start. All right, let's go into the best part of every show when we get to it, and that is, well, your viewer comments. I love reading them. They're so great, and it's the most favorite segment for me. And this is where we take a break from all the rumors, the analytics, the off-season chaos, and hear directly from you, the Halo Nation. And your takes, your rants, your wish lists, your frustrations, and your optimism. And what I love most about all of this, the comments are always respectful, fun, and sound exactly like how a bunch of Angels fans would talk about baseball around a table with a cold drink in hand. Got mine right here. This show wouldn't be the same without your voices. You bring the humor, the honesty, and the heart of this community. And with the holidays here, a lot of you have been sending in Angels-themed Christmas lists that are absolutely cracking me up. There's some great comments in there. Some of you want pitching, some want hitting, some want a new GM wrapped in a bow. And honestly, I get it. I really do. So let's dive into your comments, see what's on your mind, and maybe check twice who's on the Angels nice list and who's on the needs to throw strikes list. So let's get into it. All right, this one comes from Silent E749. They wrote, Okamoto is primarily a first baseman, and he's a bat first type of player. Okamoto has good opposite field power and is a doubles machine. He can hit homers at about 30 per season. Okamoto can play decent third base, which we need, but mostly a first baseman. If he can slot in as an everyday third base, he would be perfect for this team. He can also DH, but we have plenty of those. I'm a huge Giants fan, and he's my favorite player on the team. I would love to see him go from my favorite NPB team to my favorite MLB team. Silent E749, this is an excellent comment, and I love how much detail you brought here, and you're being a fan of him as well. As Okamoto is absolutely, a bat first player, and that bat is legit. Opposite field power, check. Doubles machine, check. 30 homer potential, absolutely. You make a key point. While he's capable at third base, he's primarily a first baseman, which means the real question for any MLB team becomes, can he stick at third every day? Because like you said, the Angels already have plenty of DH types of guys. If Okamoto comes here, he pretty much has to play the hot corner for the roster fit to make sense. And man, I love, again, that you're a Yomiuri Giants fan, and Okamoto is your guy. That's something special about, following a star in NPB and hoping he jumps to your favorite MLB team. That's the kind of crossover Angels fans can absolutely get behind. I mean, a great breakdown, great insight, and thanks for sharing your perspective. And we appreciate you being part of the Halo Nation conversation. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our next comment from the community. And the next comment, it does come in from, let me take a look at the name. It is Gene Oliver 4861. They wrote, I would go after him so we don't have to drain our farm system. And they're probably talking about Okamoto again. He's definitely a need. Third base and infield versatility. Gene, this is a great point, and honestly, one that doesn't get talked about enough. And I really appreciate you chiming in. One of the biggest benefits of signing Okamoto is in free agency exactly what you said. You don't have to touch the farm system at all. We talked about it earlier. The Angels fans love it as we get finally some legit prospects coming up, and the last thing the organization should do right now is trade away young, controllable talent just to plug a hole at third base. With Okamoto, you get a middle-of-the-order bat and someone who at least provides a shot at holding down third base. And, all that without giving up a single prospect. And look, you nailed another key point. Infield versatility. Even if Okamoto eventually settles in at first base or DH down the road, he gives your roster flexibility right now at the position the Angels desperately need to fill. And we know Anthony Rendon's not going to be there. So yeah, totally agree with you. If the Angels can add offense without draining the farm system, that would absolutely be the way to go in this stage of the build. Gives you 2 thumbs up. Great comment, Gene. Appreciate you being part of the conversation here on Halo Nation and reaching out to us again. All right, here's another comment from Mudwater9140. They wrote, "So much of the same talk again. Angels bring in discount players only. Broken, healing, off track, same old stuff." Hey, Mudwater, first of all, I appreciate the honesty because I know for a fact there are plenty of Angels fans nodding their heads, nodding right now, saying he is hitting the nail on the head. And for years, that has been the pattern. The Angels taking chances on rebound guys, injured guys, or players who were once great but trying to find it once again. And look, hey, sometimes those signings work out, but most of the time, you're right. It ends up feeling like the same cycle over and over again. But here's the thing I want to point out to you. This offseason actually can be different. The Angels have payroll flexibility. They finally have some youth coming up, and the free agent market is deep. So if they choose to break the pattern, this is a golden opportunity for them to do it. I mean, I get the frustration, man. I've been a fan since, the 80s. I mean, I feel it. And I also think this is one of those off seasons, though, where the Angels can either surprise us or repeat the same mistakes. And trust me, every Angels fan watching right now is hoping for the former. I mean, thanks for the comment, Mudwater. Love the honesty, love the passion, and keep the takes coming. Really enjoy it. And that's going to wrap up this week's viewer comment segment. However, I just want to say again, thank you to everyone who takes the time to jump in, sharing your thoughts, your passion, and your frustrations, and your ideas for how this team can get better. That's what it's all about. I mean, I love reading your comments. It's honestly one of the best parts of doing this show. I mean, what makes this community grow and thrive, this back and forth conversation, this two-way talk. It feels just like a table full of Angels fans talking baseball over a cold drink. Here we go, right? So keep them coming. Drop your thoughts, predictions, rants, wish lists, everything down in the comments below, but let's be respectful. Your comments could actually end up being featured in a future episode, and we always look forward to shouting out the awesome people who keep this community going and growing. So thank you again. Really appreciate it. Well, Halos fans, that's going to do it for this episode of Angels Latest. And what an episode. Today we went deep into some of the biggest names and storylines of the offseason. I mean, we broke down the dominance and the star power of Edwin Diaz and why he could instantly change the identity of the Angels bullpen. And we talked about the reliability, the leadership, and pitch mix wizardry of Chris Bassitt, and how he might be the smartest rotation move the Angels could make this winter. And finally, of course, we previewed the winter meetings and what the Angels need, what they should also avoid, and why this might be one of the most important off seasons for the franchise they've had in years. And it's exciting to watch as an Angels fan. And then you guys, as always, brought it in with your viewer comments, the insight, the passion, the frustration, the wish list, the realism. Nobody does it like our group here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And it's your turn now to drop your thoughts below. Who do you want the Angels to go after? I mean, would you sign Diaz? Is Bassitt your guy? What's on your Angels Christmas wish list heading into the winter meetings coming up in sunny Orlando, Florida? So keep the comments rolling. I read every single one, and I appreciate every single comment that you take time to write, and it might even be featured in our next episode. So as always, thank you so much for watching and supporting the show. This community continues to grow because of you. I mean, your comments, your conversations, your passion for Angels baseball. So we love being able to sit down with all of you each week to talk Angels baseball and keep this two-way conversation going. All right. So, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a new episode of Angels Latest. All right, Angels fans, thanks again for watching. Thanks for commenting, and thanks for being part of the Angels Latest family. And I'm Anthony, and as always, go Halos!